Hi, everybody. You're now experiencing the Gretna Bill Show.
So today, folks, let's bring you up to date. We're still talking about the Giro. We haven't waved it too much. We've had a couple of other interviews, but we did 10 stages, and then yesterday was the rest day, and then
which I forgot.
Can you believe
I thought it was Monday because that's how the tour does it.
That's why I scheduled this for Tuesday, but Josh couldn't make it. So brings us today, Wednesday, stage 11, and it is a great stage. So today, we're going to basically revisit part of the Strada Bianca course, which means 35 kilometers of gravel in the last 70K. And
Montelesino is the finish, 162K today's stage, which is live as we speak.
Right. And, what I was thinking about was there's still a couple of teams on rim brakes. And the significance of that is if there's a break, as King Kelly so aptly put it, there's not going to be a lot of your car's going to be way the fuck back there.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be behind the brake, etc. Well, and then I realized that this year I haven't seen any Mavic support vehicles.
No, it's not Mavic.
Neutrals.
There it would be Shimano. At the Giro, it's Shimano. I think they got the exclusive.
Well, I
for the
think
next few
Mavic's
years.
not doing it at all. I mean, when you look at the overall industry, they're not selling wheels like they used to.
No, and I think they just got resold again or something. I can't remember if it was them or another one of the pre-built wheel companies. But today's stage, you can bet all the GC guys have 2 or 3 guys planted on them for the entire stage. That's their job. And they're on identical setups, identical, wheels, bikes, whatever. Ineos is still on the rim brakes, so it's a little easier for those guys. They're at the front driving right now. The brake that's off has 12 minutes. They're definitely going to get into the first section of the Strada Bianchi ahead. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if UAE and a few of the other teams that have options on different bikes are not running rim brakes.
In terms of the odds, today's a logical thing is to predict Bernal to win because Bernal, of course, has his roots in mountain biking. We were just talking about Bernal earlier. So he's the favorite today.
Plus, he podiumed at Strada Bianchi a few months ago.
He was third.
Yep, he was third.
And then last stage 9, of course, the epic stage that he won in this year's Giro just 3 days ago on Sunday. There was a gravel section at the top of the ski slope, and he just
rode away from him.
Dude, he dropped it into the big ring.
Ugly.
After all that climbing, and he looked like a mountain biker.
Yeah, it's 12%. And he just danced away from him.
Big ring. That's
awesome.
like Pinch Road, and
in the big ring.
Yeah, in your big ring.
Yeah.
On gravel.
Yeah.
So, John, what we listened to Bernal today, some good stories. What did you take away from that? Besides him being a mountain biker,
kid showed up in Sicily 6 years ago to sign his first contract. Gianni Savio from Andrione
Giacopoli.
Yeah,
or Giacopoli
spotted him.
Andrione.
He brings a lot of Venezuelans and Colombians over there with his second division team.
Yeah,
and it was really cool. The one story was this kid's a Colombian. He sits down, has a coffee in Sicily, and starts shaking and stuff, and hasn't drank coffee since.
Go figure.
Kind of blows your mind, but
that blows my mind. The whole Colombia thing, cocaine thing. Yeah,
the coolest. The coolest takeaway was when he was signing his contract, Gianni goes, "Hey, do you want to call your father?" It's like, no, I got this. It's all me.
That's so cool. And I told John
that's
earlier,
incredible for a kid that age, to have that type of poise.
It's not
and
unlike my old man or your old man, because they would have both said, "What? It's your contract. You go sign it.
You take care of it."
Yeah, it's your business.
No, it's true. And then they said after he's done competing, he wants to be a journalist, like a legit journalist.
That's impressive.
Do social
Speaks really good Italian.
Yeah, well, he's been over there 6 years. He's been on Italian teams, but he speaks really good English too.
Boy, there's so many reasons why you got to love him in this race.
Yeah,
the way they went and put him third place in the podium in the Strada Bianca. The way they went over there and pre-rode some of that stuff.
Well, just the way he acted the other day when him and Remco were going after minor seconds, 3, 2, 1 on that intermediate prize.
Again.
And they're going. You haven't seen that in years, where you have 2 GC guys sprinting it out for these minor placings for these seconds, and afterwards Remco reaches over and shakes his hand and stuff. And it's been talked about yesterday in the rest day about how much respect these guys have for each other. How much, there's that mutual.
Chris Horner
cool
was all
respect.
over that. Hey, burn
Yeah.
a match. And I'm like, no, dude, it's a race.
It's a race.
It's a race. Come on.
Rest day coming up the next day. Hey, what if it comes down to 1 or 2 seconds? I mean, it could. Final day time trial.
What if
Anything
it
can
comes
happen.
down to 1 second and it's that
And it was
second
that
that
second.
he got right
Exactly
there.
right.
And then Chris Horner, the butterfly effect
But
works
he'll,
in his favor.
Yeah.
So, so what do you think, John? Let's go
You
through
wanna go back
stage.
to the start?
Yeah, let's go back to the start. Stage 1, of course, it was a short time trial.
Turin to Turin, 8.6 kilometers. That was pretty predictable.
And of course, Gano wins.
Yep.
Of course, actually, the odds weren't in his favor because everybody was talking about who were they? Who were they talking about to win that? He was the Graveria. And
Yeah, I mean, he didn't. Ghana started the season out. He didn't win the couple TTs leading up to this, so everybody kind of wasn't sure where he was at. And then he comes out and does what Ghana does.
But he's an
best.
Italian,
Yeah.
and he's in his home turf.
And he gets a pink jersey right off the bat,
right
which is
away,
really important.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had $5 to win and $5 top 3 podium. My payout, so I bet $10 and I won $19 bucks. So that's the story of stage 1.
And you got 2 Jumbo Visma guys in second and third in Affini and Tobias Foss. And, Jumbo Visma didn't bring anybody. Well, they brought George Bennett with the GC rider, and he's down, I think, 20 or 30 minutes already. So
just really quick on the time trial bikes there. Jumbo used a single post instead of the double post.
Yeah,
on the bars.
everything's super huge dower carbon fiber.
And everything's really up.
Custom
So
made.
I immediately hopped on my time trial bike.
And you change your setup.
And of course, it's down with Craig right now at Trek Bike Line.
Of
And it's
course
like,
it is.
dude, raise the stack. So my stack was like that high on my TEC bars, and I said at least double it.
Dude, you realize these guys are professionals, and you're an old amateur, but that's cool.
But seriously,
Hey,
I was.
it's
you could
innovation.
feel. You could
How many
feel-
times are you going to use that TT bike this year? By the way,
maybe once.
okay, just checking.
But John, they could have
But
a
the
state
feel.
championship
You
bar
don't know.
race, and
Absolutely,
I'm 65
dude.
plus.
Absolutely,
but
man.
The point of it is, when I got on that thing, I realized that my breathing was impacted, and I didn't feel good.
And you
So
opened
then I
up.
practiced.
You
Yeah, I
opened
stacked
up.
some stuff
Good,
on there, and I'm
cool.
like, oh yeah, this is going to be way better.
Awesome.
So, but anyway, Jumbo had 3 guys in the top 8 or 9
Oh yeah,
on that
I'm
time
sure.
trial, and they have just a single post. Okay, so the extensions, right? The arrow extensions. So instead of most people have 2 going up and then extension on each one, they just had 1 post, and I was like,
I mean, these are full custom.
and I was wondering,
power.
whoa, that maybe it's just a slight difference, in terms of aerodynamics.
He's always innovating. He's so far ahead of everybody else
Is it
thinking.
a single regular one or is it?
No, it's a single regular. Everything's all custom carbon fiber for each rider. I'd have to see a picture of
It's
it
a
to see how they
single
mount
post.
it and stuff, but it's pretty impressive. They still have the lower
the lower
bars
thing
with the
is
brake
flat,
levers on it and
staying.
stuff, but they use them. Actually, they used them a lot in touring because of all the turns and stuff. But stage 2 was good. Sprint stage, 172 kilometers into Navarra. It was the first time we got to see all the sprinters and Tim Merlier from Alpes and Phoenix didn't disappoint. He was certainly the strongest guy with Mr. Second Place, Nizzolo.
Giacomo Nizzolo.
Yeah, Nizzolo in second and Viviani in third.
And then
GC stayed the same.
And then it was Groenewegen, Sagan, and Gano.
Yeah.
What incredible
There's not a ton of like top sprinters at the Giro, but the guys that are there are all pretty equal. So it's really good sprint stages.
Yeah, they are real for sure.
The only one that missed out on that stage 2 is Caleb Ewing. He got kind of shuffled to the back there.
Right, that's a story to be developed.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that
So
in
I
a
won
second.
$12.50 on Merlier. He was kind of a favorite, so $5 to win $12.50. But anyway, I had that. Yeah, good stage. So stage 3,
Stage 3,
John.
190 kilometers to Canali. And that was first breakaway breakaway stayed away. The one guy was in a breakaway stayed away, and that was a super cool win. That was Taco van der Horn, I think the coolest name in the peloton.
Definitely.
Taco van der Horn Tuesday. Anyways, Marche Wante Group Gobert got their first
Your
Grand
favorite
Tour
team
win.
on
One of my
on
favorite
Cubes?
teams,
What's up
absolutely.
with Cube, man? The bike.
French company, I think. French bikes.
Okay. They look good, man.
And then the field literally was 5 seconds behind him, and it was David Chimoli from the Israeli Startup Nation, and Sagan showing what to come in third, bringing in the field sprint. And
I had that, so I had him on the podium. $5 to win $850. I'm cashing a ticket every race.
You're doing
man.
great. You're putting money in the bank. Ghana still held the lead with Foss moving up to second, and Remco Evenepoel starts to show his hand in third with the bonuses and stuff. So,
also, what it showed me is that these guys cannot race and go into a Grand Tour, and he's never even done a race over 7 days, and still
hasn't raced since fall.
Right. So he's, it basically demonstrates the level of preparedness and that these guys are going through right now.
The training's so much difference. I mean, we have Tour de France favorite and Primoz Roglic right now not racing till the Tour. He's not racing till July, and he's in the Sierra Nevadas right now.
Geraint Thomas?
I believe he's starting. I got to see start list. I think he's starting whatever's going on this week. I don't think he's doing a Ruta du Sol. He's probably doing an Altitude camp right now.
Yeah,
but he'll do more than likely. He'll do the Tour de Suisse or he'll do the Dauphiné and stuff. But again, we'll see what happens with Ineos.
That's where all my money's going to be on those two guys.
Yeah, I mean, with Ineos doing what they're doing.
What about Pogacar?
I'm sure he'll be at the Dauphiné, and he'll do some racing before then because of his age and stuff.
All right, stage 4. What do we got?
Stage 4 was 187 kilometers to Sestola, and that was a USA rider, Joe Dombrowski, who's been over there a while, rides for UAE. Started out with, I think he started out with Sky and then moved to EF.
Wilmington, Delaware?
No,
Wilmington, Virginia.
He's from Virginia. Really good guy. Did some crossing back in the day.
You called him early on. You said, he can climb that guy. We'll see him for sure.
Joey's a really good rider.
He's been
really
around
good,
a while.
super domestique, 30 years old. Alessandro DeMarchi in second with Filippo Fiorelli from Bardiana in third. It was a great win for Dombrowski to finally get a Grand Tour stage win. DeMarchi took over the race lead with Israeli Startup with Dombrowski moving up into second and Louis Vervaca from Alpecin Fenix in third on the GC. And just a good solid day.
A quick shout out to DeMarchi. We've seen that guy work so hard the last couple of years on brakes and the whole deal. He's from Italy.
Yep. He's been trying a long time to get a pink jersey on his back, so it was really cool to see.
Yeah, really exactly. Cool to see. Loved it. It's
great for the sport, and I got to mention real quick the amount of people on the sideline. It's everybody's doing their thing. It feels like normal racing,
and everybody looked happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like today, I got a big smile on my face. The mug shot.
Yeah.
We don't have any. Yeah. So when I was coming up here today, I thought that, geez, the last time John and we met up here for the Giro preview, it was a beautiful day in downtown Timber Hills at the Josh Zering Studios.
Well, it's a beautiful day out there today. Get out and ride your bike later. Absolutely gorgeous.
So by the way, stage 4 was the only stage I didn't cash a ticket, but let's go to stage 5.
Stage 5 was Modena to Cato Lacia, 177 kilometers. Sprint stage, Caleb Ewing, Nizola again, another second place, and Viviani in third. This stage here was a nasty day for GC. Big crash with 10, 15K to go. It took out Mikel Landa.
Horrible.
Dombrowski went down, hurt himself. Nothing major, but he pulled out then the next day on stage 6.
You feel like weighing in on the traffic furniture on these sprint stages at the end and the UCI's.
It's crazy. It's the stuff they're worried about.
It seems like they're more worried about the water bottles than the furniture.
We're worried about wrappers and we're worried about water bottles that biodegrade instead of posts sticking up in the middle of the road.
I cashed 2 tickets that day. I had Ewan, of course. We knew that was coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Lotto needed that win.
I got $5. I won $17.50. And then, of course, I had Nizola on the podium. So $5 got me $12.50. So I had a
you got the hang of this.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got his notes, absolutely professionally done this week.
Well, there's 2 reasons about the napkin. First of all, it's what I have there because I'm usually snacking and stuff. So
I find it hard to believe.
I have that right there.
Yeah, there is a little bit of food stain on there. So it's
and
true.
And the second reason why I love this idea is because it limits my note taking. So I can't just because I found last time I was writing a lot of stuff down. and I wasn't even getting to it. So this makes me put down really.
I did
key
the
point.
same thing, dude. There's just GC
I see that.
first, and there's not a whole lot of extra stuff. And, believe it or not, people, we are on a time limit here. So we can't just talk for 4 or 5 hours because nobody will listen.
Stage 6.
Stage 6 was 160 kilometers, legitimate mountain climbing stage. Another group got away, or I think Gino Mader won the stage from Bahrain, Swiss champion, and Egon really started showing his cards. Came in second with Dan Martin.
Him. I saw an interview with him, and actually it was with Simon Palade from Switzerland.
Okay,
and they both started off as kids. They know each other forever, mountain biking.
That dude's been in every break just about too.
Right.
Yeah, Palade. He's really. Now, they don't got anybody in today, which really surprised me. Giovanni Savio back in the car is probably going nuts right now.
Well, this is the first day that Walter from Hungary.
FDJ rider took the GC. Attila Walter. Cool name. Attila. Yeah, how cool is that name? Hungarian kid takes the overall.
And he's
takes
from
a pink
Hungary,
jersey.
so
and from
Attila
Hungary.
the Hun,
First pink jersey for Hungary.
Yeah.
With Remco in second and Egon in third on GC. So now you were really starting to see what it was really starting to shake out who's going to be fighting the next week and a half on to win this race.
So the note that I took here was again they're using Philip Ganna.
Yeah, he's the start
he was
man
driving
with the chase.
it. He drove it most of that race up front. I mean, talk about Tim de Klerk. He's that plus more.
He's the Italian's Tim de Klerk.
Yeah,
who can time trial.
Totally cool. So. Yeah, so again, they used him up front. This team is just amazing. I'm just impressed with the hell out of
Well,
them.
they definitely came to win. There's no doubt about that.
He was pushing 460 watts.
And they're down a man. They only have 7 riders or six riders.
Sivakov.
No, 7 riders.
Sivakov.
They're down a rider. So they're at a little bit of a disadvantage, but
he crashed on the Landa stage, I think.
I believe so. I think he went out in the Landa stage.
So, so Ganna was 460 watts, like most of that out front.
It's
for an hour and a half.
Incredible numbers.
I also had a note here about stage 6 as being another jacket gate. Why was it? What was going on with that? It was raining, and I think somebody got fined for jacket, and
I don't know about that, but I know when you get this cold and you're at this level and the altitude and stuff. I mean, the weather last week, there were days that were beautiful and there were days that were absolute shit.
I had it was either. Or I had a note here about Dan Martin. Why did I put that down? Mainly because he was in the cold. That he's used to that.
Yeah,
and he was right up in there. That stage.
No, Dan Martin's running a really good race.
I think he got third.
Yeah, Dan Martin's running a really good race. He's right there.
I didn't cash in on that. I should have had Dan Martin.
It's a tough call, man. There's so many good guys this year. It's we converse off when we're not here at the show and stuff. We text back and forth about who do you think this, who do you think that. And we'll talk a little bit about today's stage because we went back and forth last night. And I thought I was kind of partly right on what's going on in today's, but I missed it. The one guy I thought it would be in there. But then we went to stage 7, which was 181 kilometers in Tourmaline. I kind of like too what the Giro is doing, sort of what the Vuelta is doing. You don't have any of these long 230, 240 kilometer days anymore. Most of the days are under 200K. They're very fast, very hard. The cool thing about the GCN coverage is it's start to finish, straight through. And you get to see how hard it is at the start of these races where they're literally full gas for an hour and a half till the break goes. And you can tell when the break goes, when they're going to let the break go, then everybody pulls off for piss break. And you can just tell, these guys, even though these are the best athletes in the world, you can't go full gas for an hour and a half nonstop.
Plus your $49.99 is well spent on the GCN subscription. They have 4 commentators, so they bring 2 in and then 2 more
guys through, and
then they got the guys on the couch afterwards.
Yep. No, it's been really good. I mean, anything Sir Bradley Wiggins is involved in is awesome, and Adam Blythe has been great, and Dan Lloyd, and you can't even say anything bad about Sean Kelly. He's awesome, the GOAT, and Rob Hatch is doing a great job too. The commentary is really good. And Hannah Walker's in there too. She's doing a great job.
Yeah, Hannah's doing okay.
Yep.
Dan Lloyd picked today's stage, the same pick that I had. Well, I had 2
picks. That could be good or bad.
Ciccone.
Well, he's a big research guy, so he's probably pretty close on that. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then, of course, out of sympathy and respect, I picked Thomas de Gent, but it was $5 to bet. And if he wins, $505.
We talked about that last night.
Yeah.
Said it was good. But stage 7 was
Caleb.
Termoli, yep, 181 kilometers. Caleb gets another stage win with David Similori from ISN with another podium, and Tim Merlier in there from Alpecin Phoenix gets a third. The next day, stage 8, he pulls out with stomach. Stage 8 or 9, he pulled out with stomach problems.
And Caleb
He's home.
pulled out because of a crash.
Because of crash in the tunnel. And Attila's still in the lead with Remco and Egon in third. It was
And
a flat
Vaslov
stage.
is up there.
Yeah, well, he's starting to move. He was starting to move by that time, starting to show his hand, and we'll get to him in a second because stage 8 was
Well, on 7, I did cash a ticket, so
Okay.
I had $5 on Caleb, and I won $17.50.
you just keep rotating it back into the till. You're killing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting it all into Tour de France betting.
Well, that's going to
Early.
be
So stage 8,
Hilly
Cofidis,
Mountain
huh?
stage.
Cofidis.
Yep, Cofidis got a great stage win in Victor Laflay with Francisco Gavazzi from the Cometa team. That was an awesome result for them. Second,
Boy,
they've had guys in the
Cofidis,
breaks
the
every-
French team, hasn't done shit.
No, but Viviani's been up there almost every day, and Victor Lafay gets his stage win for him, which makes their whole race. And then Nicky Art in third from DSM. GC stayed the same. That was a legit mountain stage going into the stage 9, which was the gravel finish, which was
The toughest stage we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot to write down what the KM what the kilometers was on that, but it doesn't matter. Egon, there was a breakaway. There was 2 guys away really late. I can't remember. I think Bulky Malmer was in there, and I can't remember who else was with him. But
Campenarts?
no, not he would have been popped the minute they started going uphill. But going into that last climb, it was 12% gravel. And like Billy said earlier, man, he just popped it up in the big ring, cross-chained it, and took off, and nobody could go with him. I mean, he won easily with
His head was bobbing, his shoulders. He looked like Nino
Dude,
Schurter more than he looked like.
It was
right?
incredible, man.
He looked like Nino coming in for the win.
Absolutely. And we'll touch on the Mountain Bike World Cup here in a second because that's been really good races too. But then your boy Ciccone in second with Remco coming in third. I thought Remco was going to lose some time there because he looked really bad halfway up that climb. We talk about that climb. It was only like 1.2 or 3 kilometers, but a lot can happen in that.
So I was listening to an interview about Gianni. Gianni, what's his last name? Out of Ineos. Gianni.
I know who you mean, but I can't think of it right now.
So he, Remco was talking about him going into the tunnel, right? And how he lost a lot of positions. Conversely, Bernal's team, Ineos, came out of the tunnel with Gio Canoni. Okay, I'm tongue twisted, but you know who I'm talking about. He's on Ineos. Anyway, he came out of the tunnel and they did not lose any ground because of that, and that kind of contributed to Bernal's win overall. And Evenepoel basically Mosconi.
Mosconi.
He let him out, and that's where Evenepoel, Remco actually said, I lost some ground in the tunnel. I wasn't prepared. Those guys that made a strong team move.
You're thinking of Mosconi, and then they lost. Who they lost? Simikov. Yeah, okay. But I mean, who they got? I mean, you look down. I'm looking at Ilios's start list now, and it's just, man. I mean, every one of those guys are super stud. They're all motivated to do well in this race. More than likely, I mean, I don't think any of them are going to the Tour. I don't know if they're going to take. Filippo to the Tour. They may take on to the Tour. I don't know yet.
Well, that would be a yeoman's task for him, the way he's been pulling.
He can do it, though. His
Holy
age and
crap.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, he's been very impressive this race. I mean, to say the least. He does what's needed. The guy pulls for hours. Like you said, you compared him to Tim DeClercq earlier, and I would say that's absolutely a
So I had Bernal. Wasn't much that I won, but I think I won $8.50 on $5. But
so
I had
obvious.
Ciccone. I won $17.50 on $5 with Ciccone.
Keep banking it, man. Keep banking it.
And again, it was Gianni Mosconi. That's what I wanted to remember. So that whole team is just awesome. So
and Mosconi did a really good job on stage 10, bringing that back. Keeping. We'll get to that. Yeah, stage 10.
Well,
there was an intermediate sprint in stage 10. I don't want to lose my train of thought.
All right, go.
And they were all together. Group was all together. And I haven't seen this in a Grand Tour in a long, long time. Here's the GC guys sprinting for 3-2-1 seconds.
That was incredible.
Which was awesome to see Egon and Remco up there doing this. And then at the last second, Mosconi takes off and takes to keep Remco from getting the 3 seconds. Remco gets the 2 seconds. Egon gets the 1 second, which may be the difference. We talked about this earlier. It could come down in Milan in a week and a half to literally 1 second, and there's your 1 second. And
again,
what did you hear then?
not-
What was said on one of the shows we watched, one of the podcasts we listened to, that you wouldn't have, who said, I wouldn't have wasted my time on that.
Yeah, Horner.
Yeah, which he should know as a Grand Tour winner, and I'm sure he does. Every second counts at this level.
And again, Ineos showing their team organization and team spirit because,
and
like
the
you
same
said,
with De Koenig.
Mosconi
Absolutely, he
did
knew
that.
he knew to be there. He knew to take that.
He knew, and Bernal got on his
Because
wheel.
these guys aren't sprinters. Remco can sprint pretty decent for a climber for what he is, but Egon's not a sprinter. Not even close.
So going back to stage 9, I did cash a ticket, $17.50 on Ciccone. And what I wanted to tell you about stage 9 before we continue on stage 10, that was the toughest stage, and that was in the Apennines. The Apennine mountain range forms kind of the spine
divider
of Italy. And, we talk a lot about, of course, the Italian Alps and the Dolomites.
Yep, up in the northern part.
But you don't hear the word Apennines too much, and I just wanted to mention that because they're awesome, man.
Absolutely.
How about 19?
Well, here I know the viewers can't see it, but I mean that speaks for itself.
Yeah,
it's
this scenery's
the
been
scenery
incredible. Like we said, one of the reasons why we watch it. How about that cave that they discovered in 1971? It's huge, and they didn't even discover it till 71.
Didn't even discover it till 71
in the Apennines. So they went through the Abruzzo region, which is where my maternal grandparents came from. My paternal grandparents came from Sicily. That's the mafia side.
That's the Gentili. I would think.
Sicilian.
Name was, when you guys came across in the boat, they
say that Abruzzi region is like Tuscany without all the tourists. Yeah, folks. So remember that on your screen, Josh is going to be flashing FanDuels and DraftKings. And what you want to do is get involved by betting. And to get started, if you tap on and subscribe to those links, then you will be referred by me, by Gretna Bill. You will get a $50 stash to bet with. And as long as you use some of that money to bet with, don't withdraw it and go buy yourself free beers, but bet with it within 28 days, like during the Giro, then that $50 is yours. So it's a great thing to do, and it'll keep you involved. And I urge you guys to go on, maybe both sites, actually, if you can get in there. It's a limited time offer. So again, FanDuel, DraftKings, get on the link that Josh is showing behind me now, and let's get after it. All right, good time to talk about our sponsors, John. Who are they today?
Lupine North America, best lights in the world. German engineered, just incredible lights. And you still need lights, even though it's daylight out to 8:30 or whatever. Got to have lights on the bike, man.
We've got a new. Well, we've had the SL line, which is have daytime running lights with the light sensor, and then they automatically go to nighttime beams when the sun sets or when you go through a tunnel or something.
Mm-hmm.
So automatically, and we've been selling those and having good luck with those. A lot of people are riding with the front light on now.
Yeah, I see him past a couple guys on the way out through here this morning,
and they use hardly any power. So
heavy blinking in the front.
Yeah,
very, very noticeable.
You can set it for blink or not. I'm not a blink fan. I just not.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. I've never quite understood the heavy blink in the front, and then I pass these guys, and then they have nothing on the back. Doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Arguably, you can find a lot of compelling literature about why it doesn't necessarily. It kind of hypnotizes you.
I would rather have a heavy blinker on the back than have something on the front. But
that's I just want a daytime running light. Well, now we have a new light coming out. It's the battery version of the Nano, which has all those features, but like half the cost. So it's under $200 light, and it's got front time, light sensor, daytime running lights, etc. So that's going to be a big thing.
That'll be a big seller.
Road safety.
And the thing with Lupine is no matter the cost, you're getting the best. I mean, the technology trickles down, considering what they cost at, what they had cost at one time, and now you're getting that same technology for a few $100s. It's pretty incredible. And the fact that I still am just blown away by the fact that Gergely did cross Pennsylvania in 21 hours. With that, just still, I try to wrap my head around that, and it's just so impressive. It's just absolutely so. That's an impressive ride, to say the least. But then, I don't know. I guess Josh Ziering Studios We're here with the man himself,
Downtown Timber Hills.
You know, a subsection
Suburb
of
Mount Gretna,
Mount Gretna,
Pennsylvania. Yeah, right.
You know, and I think the everything's rolling in Gretna. You can come downtown and hang out and all kinds of stuff to do, and it's beautiful. The lake opens soon, and
yeah, they did some more work on Trail 9 up on the Governor Dick Trail. Governor Dick's got so many good trails now, and whether it's mountain bike, rail trail, road, gravel, whatever, man. And really so many more people are moving here for that reason. And I'll just do a throwback because I always do back into the early 90s. I said this is going to be the vitalization of, and all the old people were like, we don't want those people around here with the bikes. And I'm like, no, it's all good, man. It's good.
Dude, imagine what they think now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, well, Billy, you're an innovator. I mean, let's face it. Yeah. I mean, you knew you were so far ahead.
I was just doing what I wanted to do, and everything else seemed to fall. Yeah, right.
Not you.
So, where were we?
Stage 10.
Yeah.
To 139 kilometers, flat sprint stage. And Bora just held it together. Bora just at the front the entire day, basically, for 130 kilometers. And Peter Sagan rewards them with a stage win up against Gaviria and Chimolai again from ISN, gets the third. So that's, I think, the fourth time he's been on the box with them.
Bora drove that right from the beginning. It was such a pleasure to watch. What a strong team.
And he finished it off. And then he
kept dropping. Merlier dropped. And Nizzolo dropped.
They showed everybody on, there were some climbs, 40, 50K from the finish. And they popped all the sprinters that were left. And then you have Vlasov, I think, was already in third. Was he? Vlasov moved up the day before. But there's Astana guy who we talked about a couple weeks ago as a GC threat. And there he is showing his cards in third, just sitting, waiting, and we'll see what happens today.
I have him on the podium, and
that's a good call. I mean, I don't know a lot about the guy, but everybody hates Astana, but they are a solid team. They know how to work for one guy. They know they're a GC team.
Yeah, there's this general mistrust of the Russians.
Yeah, well, Kazakhs. I didn't say that. Bill Gentile said that. Yeah. I love my Russian brothers.
I love all my Russian friends.
All my votes yesterday went through Russia. It was awesome. And, but then, I missed that because I didn't even think there was a stage Monday. I thought that was rest day because that's how the tour does it. Mondays are usually rest days. So I didn't even look. I went back and watched Trébone Lyon or whatever it was called. The gravel race from Sunday from Northern France. And then Billy messaged me, I got Sagan. I did real well with Sagan. It's like, well, what are you talking about? It's like, there was a stage day Sagan one. It's like, you got Italians, damn it. So I had to go back Monday night. Then I sat and watched like the last 50K.
That was my biggest paycheck ever. I had Sagan all the way,
man. Especially, you didn't even need me. I mean, I'm my feelings
$5. I won $32.50, and then I had him on the podium.
You killed it,
and that paid another $12.50 on $5. So yeah, I had a huge day that day. And when I look back on it, my reasoning was that first of all, Sagan's been strong all year.
Yeah, well, now he's really ramping it up.
He's really ramping it up, and there was a very technical finish, and that was perfect for him. The
absolutely.
Way he flexes himself. Nobody was getting around him.
I still think sometimes I look at Sagan and it's like, I still think he's like 25, and he's 30 or 31 years old. He rode himself right into the
Ciclamino.
Yeah, he's in the Ciclamino in the points jersey. So mountain jersey is held by. I looked and now I can't remember.
So anyway, again, you speaking of the organization of Ineos Grenadiers, but how about the Koenig's Quick Step? And
they came to win this thing.
And how about Sagan going to them? Is that your best guess?
I'm glad you brought that up. It's been revealed that Patrick Lefebvre with the Koenig Quick Step just signed a 6-year extension with the Koenig, with the flooring company. So obviously he's got the money. They're going to lose Sam Bennett for sure. They couldn't come together on a price. I think. And I love Sam Bennett. I think he's still the best sprinter in the world, but I think he wants a huge payday. I think he wants a very big paycheck. He hasn't done shit
this race.
Well, he's not in the race. He's there saving him for the tour. Yeah, he didn't do nothing.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's going to the tour.
My bad.
But you see, the cool thing about Bennett is he should go to the tour. Who knows what will happen with Quickstep now with him leaving for sure. But Patrick said in the media that they just it wasn't anything negative with Sam. They just couldn't come together with a price. I think he wanted incredible money.
We watched Sagan just come along this whole season, He had COVID in January, and then he's just been stronger and stronger.
He's just getting better and better. And with Peter knows what to do, and it goes. His contract's up with Bora. He's one of the highest paid guys in the world at $5 million a year. And I think what
would you say Specialized is paying a lot of his salary?
I suspect that's the case, along with his co-sponsors and stuff. And the word in the street is he's more than likely going to go to DeConnick with his entourage, with Daniel Oss and his brother, and Polish guy that's been with him the whole time that just pulls like a maniac. I can't think of his name right now, but he knows his job really well. And he'll take his Swanee
Besides Daniel Oss.
And he'll take his Swanee with, and he'll take his PR guy. And, it's a pretty big outlay. And the word in the street is he's getting a pay raise with DeConnick, which kind of is surprising. But it's not surprising because of what you get from Peter. Now, I think what will happen, my opinion is, Peter will go to DeConnick and he'll get reborn as he won't be the guy he was 5 years ago. But he'll be that solid, dependable, 10 wins a year guy. His attitude will change. I mean, DeConnick has this ability to make these, look what they've done to Cavendish. Cavendish is happy.
Them like Ineos seem to be able to better define the roles of these riders as they move through their career.
It's almost like the egos and everything get left at the door of the bus, and everybody goes in and they're just regular riders. They're just regular. They're going to go out and do their job. They know their job. They can each win each given day.
Both Ineos and DeConnick, what I'm seeing in Jumbo, I don't see in those two teams.
No, you
Roglic
don't.
is it.
There's word on the street.
How many times has he been isolated?
Coming back. Tom D's coming back at the Tour of Swiss. He kind of had his off period where he had to get his head together.
For Jumbo.
And I believe that he'll move on. I don't think he's at Jumbo next year. I think he'll, it was brought up on one of the other podcast shows. I think Johan Bernil, the brain as I call him, said this on Lance's show about how I think it would be best for Tom to move on and go somewhere where he can kind of just do his own thing and not have so much pressure on him. I mean, he's Dutch. He's the only Dutch guy that can probably still win a big stage race, although I don't think he will. He needs that kind of he needs that attitude and feeling where he doesn't, that the pressure isn't on him, although it's always going to be on him in the press.
When I watched the preview for today's stage 11, again, 35 kilometers of gravel.
Here's
in
a real
the last
cool thing,
70,
real quick, not to interrupt you,
70
Billy. Young rider standings, Bernil, Evenepoel, and Vlasov, and Attila Valter all in the top 4 of the young rider. Now think about that.
Yeah.
There's your top 5 or whatever, top 4 on GC, and they're all under 25 or under 23 or whatever that young rider is. That blows my mind. Sorry for the interruption there.
No, what I saw today was in 2010, the last time they were doing this stage into, what's the name of this, Montalcino?
Montalcino.
The last time they went in there, it was won by Cadel Evans, also a
on the
mountain
gravel,
biker, in the rain,
epic day, unbelievable day.
And
you couldn't even recognize these guys at the finish.
And I saw the classic bike in there, not of course on Cadel Evans, but in general. I saw a Bottecchia, and the reason why I brought that up because in almost all these breaks you see Giacottoli Andriani. And you see
Bordiani,
and you see Iola, and you see Bernardi CSF.
Yeah, and they're on
Cipollini's and
Bottecchias
and of course the Ara brand, which if that team's owned by Basso and somebody else, the Italian team, I'm not sure what Ara.
Alberto Contador. It's an Italian brand. It's Basso's brand of bike, I think, in Italy. They spoke to him this morning. I mean, it was kind of cool listening to Ivan Basso again. I mean, for Giro winner and whatnot. This Giro has just been incredible. Giro's always good, but this one here especially, maybe because I'm watching it from start to finish every day between during working and stuff, and it's just kind of cool. They still got 86K to go. They got 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes. They're getting close to the first long gravel section in Tuscany. Pretty ominous clouds in the distance.
This looks
like we're watching the Gladiator. I mean, the scenery is just, I expect the Maximus to pull up with a Legion any minute. It's incredible. I mean, it's just so beautiful.
Sulky chariots.
It's something like that, just incredible.
What's going on right now?
Watching, they're showing the breakaway.
How many minutes they got?
They got 12 minutes, 44 in the peloton. And they could bring that back. I mean, today's going to be a very interesting day. Guys could lose 30 minutes today. GC could be completely different by tomorrow. Right now we have Rudy de Sol's going on in Spain. There's some minor races. There was some good stuff over the weekend. Mountain Bike World Cup. Nobody's beaten short track specialist Mathieu van der Poel. He's won both the short tracks, I believe. And this past weekend, the first week, the French kid won the cross country 2 weeks ago. And this past Sunday, Thomas Pidcock wins the cross country, which was incredible. I mean, first win for Ineos Grenadiers at a World Cup level in the mountain bike, which was pretty cool. And it also shows that Matthew's human.
Pinarello make a mountain bike?
No, I think he's on BMCs.
Okay.
Rebranded probably, or just blacked out, what they do at that level. But we talked about this last year about when you watch these grand tours from Europe, you come by these churches and buildings that were built. They were started in 1150 and finished in 1312 and stuff, and that's 500
destroyed by 3 different wars and rebuilt.
And 200 or 300 years before they ever thought of sailing west towards the new world. It's just it is absolutely incredible when you look
when they get destroyed in those wars and then rebuilt and everything's pretty much the same. It always makes me contemplate the whole idea of war. It's like after the war's over, everything pretty much goes back. Water seeks its own level.
Yeah, it's all about money. 15K to go to the first gravel section. Today's break, you got Taco Vanderhorn up there. You got a couple Lotto guys, FDJ, some Assos guys, and of course, you have the smaller Italian team sprinkled through. It's a pretty decent sized break. Looks like it's about 10, 12 guys. It won't stay away.
What do you think the ideal number is? When I watched
6.
Right.
6 or 7.
Good for you. I watched trainerroad.com and they were looking at that and they looked at all the draft that goes on and it's about 6 or 7 is ideal.
We did a ride years ago. Every year, a couple times a year, we'd ride down from Lebanon or Lancaster down to Ocean City, Maryland. I think it's 185 miles or something. And one year we did it many years ago. We left out of Lancaster and it was one of the old timers, Mike Chavone, and the name from the past, and Dave Black and Rod Myers, old Rod Myers, rest
what a
in
crew,
peace,
huh?
and a couple other guys. I can't remember who all. I think it was 6 of us, and we had a tailwind, which was obviously nice. But we made it down. Everybody rotated through. There was no bullshit. It was one of the best rides I've ever done in my life. It was incredible how you just it makes you appreciate when you watch these breaks. If everybody works and does their job, it's really it's a pleasure. It's really, really cool. Looking forward to Tour of Lebanon Valley here in a couple weeks. It's just a sportive or whatever. I mean, it's only 100K, but it's really good. You watch this and you're looking for a cool ride in this area around the Lebanon Valley. Definitely get on Bike Reg and sign up and do the Tour of Lebanon Valley here in 3 weeks. It's you can do it
4 weeks, but
4 weeks. Yeah, I mean, if you're only riding just X amount of miles a night or whatever, you can do this. It's
3
not
weeks
that
is Bear
hard.
Creek, and then after that, it's Tour.
Yeah, Bear Creek's going to be huge. That'll be one of the biggest mass races this year so far, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yep.
So I think next week, Josh, I was talking to Nikki at Nate's graduation party on Saturday night, and she said, "Hey, can we talk about the Tour of Lebanon County along with the Tower to Town run?" So she's going to come over to the studio around 9 one of these mornings after she gets her kids off. So yeah, that's coming up for sure.
And there's been some asking about when the Tour de Gretna returns, and I'd say probably a safe bet for next year. Correct?
Yeah, and I mean, John's had this great idea for quite some time. Said put it in after Labor Day, and I keep saying, well, you got the cross season and everything, but now that MAC is canceled, or some of the races are in the fall, might not be a bad idea.
It's early September is a good. Early September out here is nice because everything pretty much shuts down Labor Day, and you could do this the week after.
It would mean so much for the bar too, because I'm sure we could get the state championship road race moniker again.
I mean, I honestly don't think it would make that big of a deal with cyclocross. They kind of seem to split and go their own way now.
Yeah.
And if you're a serious road guy and stuff and want to do that, you can take a week off across and go do that road race. It's not going to hurt you training wise and stuff. It's not going to hurt you fitness wise. And our good friend Todd Sasquatch is very interested in. He'd love to see another cross, or another criterium around Soldier Field up here. A little bit behind us up here would be kind of cool to bring that crit back around Soldier Field. And he mentioned food trucks and all kinds of stuff. And I'd like to see it go even one step further, like a 3-day festival in Gretna with gravel rides, mountain rides, supported stuff, whatever. And it would be pretty cool to see everybody come back the way Gretna used to be with riding. Well, how it still is.
Yeah, and we've got some momentum going. How many people? Aaron Snyder, Vicky Barkley, the Finns, so on and so forth. So many people.
There's such a great atmosphere in this area to ride bike. I mean,
James.
I'm seeing a lot of people out
Bill Kerr, and that whole neighborhood is just riddled with.
Yeah, there's a lot of good riders out here. I mean, I passed the whole crap load of.
Timber Hills is happening,
the epicenter.
Man.
It is the epicenter. I mean,
of our simulation anyway. Simulation.
We have just a really good riding. So today's stage, 81K to go. Roughly a little under 50 miles. They got 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes. It's kind of piano in the group. Just
so have they done any gravel yet, John?
Nah, they're about 10K from the first gravel section, which I think is 20K or something.
So yeah, if you get a chance to tune in on the Giro,
you don't
live
necessarily
today,
need the GCN. If you search around, you can probably find a free feed somewhere.
Definitely tonight there'll be highlights.
You want to search
but
it out.
This is worth watching the whole entire race.
Without a doubt.
I don't know how anybody gets work done. That's why we're doing
I have
this.
to.
That's right.
I don't have a choice.
But for Josh and I, this is our work, I guess.
I got work coming out of my ears. It's
something like that.
Everybody's riding their bikes. Everybody's getting stuff fixed. There's not a lot in the pipeline as far as bikes go right now with the industry. Everybody's building.
Imagine that, a Bardiani on a Bottecchia in up front. Go figure. And then Wante
comes through, and Asso's guys. And,
they're on
cubes. And then you have BMCs.
And then
Cometa guys go through. Yeah.
Iola on the Ara.
More BMC there with Assos. And again,
what's Quebecer riding?
They are BMCs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, BMCs. But anyways, no, it's going to be a really good race. I'm looking forward to the last show. We'll probably do one the Monday or Tuesday after Milano, after the finish.
Yeah, something like that.
And go from there. And then, before you know it, we'll be back in here doing the tour. That's what tour starts over this year. I think it starts third week or last week in June.
Because of the conflict with the Olympics, I'm assuming. Yeah.
And it'll be curious. I mean, I have to talk about the mountain bike on the Olympic side with Vanderpool and Nino and
it's going to be
Pitcock and all these guys. I mean, they're obviously the favorites, but you could have somebody pop out of nowhere and win that race. It's going to be the rest of this season cycling wise. Plus, you have
Nino will be there. Nino Schurter will be there.
Nino will be there. With Vanderpool and Pitcock and all the good. I mean, the Mountain Cup World or the Mountain Bike World Cup guys are incredible. I mean, any of those guys could be at this level on the road. And a lot of them have been.
So I read something on Vanderpool, and they said, he may not go into the road even if he wins a gold. He may stick with
he claims he wants to do mountain bike for at least another couple years, which is cool. I mean, I think he enjoys it. He gets a lot of fun out of it. As long as the team lets him do it, he doesn't care.
His flight path won't be that much different than the great Cadell Evans, actually.
Not really. I mean, although I think if he gets his
plus the mountain biking,
if he gets his gold medal, if he wins a gold medal this summer in Japan, maybe that's it for a while. If he goes to a world tour team right now with Alpes and Phoenix, they basically are. But somebody opens a checkbook up and gives him the big money. I can see him jumping to a world tour team, and then everything changes, because then he's got that obligations. Although Pitcock, Ineos Grenadiers is letting Pitcock do it, and they're getting a ton of publicity out of it. And in the end, that's why these companies and these teams sponsor these guys. It's not because they're nice guys. It's because it's advertising dollar. And that's what people forget on why isn't there this, why isn't there that? It's the same way with the women's teams. I mean, it's great that all these world tour teams and these guys are doing women's teams, but in the end, if they don't kind of tote their load or whatever, there's not going to be any that the sponsorship dollars won't be there. As much as we want to see that, as much as, I watch a fair amount of the women's cycling. It's interesting. Its tactics are different and whatnot. If the sponsorship dollar doesn't get its return, it's not going to be there. It just won't be there. It looks like things are getting back to normal. We've got a good U.S.
mountain biker. What's her name? Bailey something or other.
Yeah, I don't watch that much mountain biking, but there are some girls that are doing incredible at the world level. Very, very good. And that's to be expected. I mean, I'm not surprised because we do well across at the world level. The women from the United States have always done really good.
In cross too, Katie Compton.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is her last year coming up.
Last year I remember at one point you said they've got to get those tours off the ground in spite of COVID, because if they don't, a lot of these big sponsors are going to start bailing. And once they bail, it's tough to get them back on board.
Absolutely.
And that was a turning point. And you called it. That was an epiphany for biking. But not only that, I think the momentum is transferred to cyclocross with GCN helps, of course.
Yeah.
But you've got cyclocross being people into watching that more aware. You've got the mountain
Well,
biking.
you have this daily. I mean, if you would have told me 25, 30 years ago that I could sit here and watch a Giro live while doing a Gretna Bill show, I'd say there's just no way. It's not going to happen.
With the
I
exception,
didn't expect you to still be alive by this time, but that's besides the point.
with the exception of Penn State football, I have no interest in professional.
I mean,
I'm all cycling all the time.
You know, the thing you brought up a good point about this whole thing with the coverage and that. And of course, I lost my train of thought because getting old
because
sucks.
it generates more revenue for everybody, and so there's going to be.
That's what I wanted to
we're
say.
on the verge of even more.
Absolutely. I mean, with DeConnick coming in and stepping up for 5 or 6 more years, that's a huge outlay of money. The world economy is not solid, and you know that as well as anyone because you really pay attention to that stuff. For these companies to lay out the kind of money, you got to remember, Illinois and some of these teams, they're $30-40 million a year budgets. Now, in the world of F1 and NASCAR and pro U.S. sports teams, that's a drop in the bucket. But that's a lot of money for this. And then one thing that I'll add real quick so I don't forget it is, and I've been watching this straight through in a whole bunch of other races, and this is a good thing. You rarely hear COVID mentioned anymore. I mean, I see the crowds. I'm sure they were all tested yesterday. I didn't say that.
So
everyone's so proud of me for just keeping my mouth shut and sitting here, staying on point and focus. The thing of it is, it's really cool that this stuff is back and going.
So,
and there's no.
Speaking
bullshit.
of advertising dollars and the sport itself, and back whenever I said if they start gambling on it, it's going to be huge. So now I look at cycling.
It always happened in Belgium in the lowlands. It's always been that way. But now, obviously, somebody realized there's money to be made from guys like Bill Gentile in Mount Gretna, PA. There is. Are
you going to show the DraftKings FanDuel?
You can bet on everything.
Because I still haven't gotten any money into my account because we're referring people. So come on, people, get in there and have some fun.
Get in, play games.
Play some
Billy
quid
and find out. Yeah, I mean, start. Not everybody's poor like I am. So you guys can all play.
Well, you won't be soon. All the bikes you're repairing.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm really encouraged by GCNN, and that's just going to draw more advertising dollars, and the sport's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it has such a broad appeal.
Well, with the daily
so
coverage,
much fun.
that's why these companies want to be involved with this. It makes sense.
More so now than ever.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no, there's hundreds of thousands of people around the world right now watching this live. Especially with a lot of people working from home. If you set a couple screens up, you can still do your work and have this kind of on the side there. Your boss don't have to know.
I am so jazzed too. It's such an international sport. Like everybody can get in on this, whether you're Colombia or South Africa.
Well, Colombia
then,
loves this stuff. South America.
Today they going to some athletes, and they were giving their predictions, the GCN predictors, and they all spoke in different languages. Well, not all of them, but it's English, French, Italian. Yeah. And what a broad appeal. It's like everybody in the world can aspire to this, whether you're a kid from Hungary or Ecuador.
Absolutely.
It's just
really
tremendous.
Cool.
It's just tremendous. It truly is the best of the best of the best. I mean,
I love it. It's been my life, so I got no complaints with it. I mean, it's
imagine where I'd be
excellent.
if I would have stayed working for Dun and Bradstreet. I would have been.
You would have been hiding in a basement somewhere like you did 30 years ago. Is Bill Gentile here? No, I haven't seen him in weeks. I have no clue where he's at.
Oh man, they came and hunted me down.
They did. They were hunting you down. I used to have to sit at the old shop and wait for the company car to pull up. It's like, Billy, get to the basement quick. DB's out there looking for you.
Dun and Bradstreet.
Good times, man. Good times.